Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 match. The match that everyone has been waiting for literally, well, almost literally half a decade. For years, it's been teased many times. They've been on different sides of the bracket. The two major regions in StarCraft, South Korea and everyone else. Let me introduce, in this King of Battles tournament, which is, it sounds like a mobile game that would be advertised on the ad that YouTube definitely didn't put right here after you like and subscribe, but the King of Battles tournament put on by Team Alpha X. Check out Alpha X SC2 on Twitter for all these amazing events they put on. Well, let me first introduce to you a man who's played StarCraft 2 professionally for 10 years. He's been in GSL for 10 years, since the age of 13. Jimmy, do we have that picture? Before Game 2? Okay. Anyways, he's won more GSLs than you have fingers on one hand. I don't know if that's true. I think it's like 5. He's speedrun the GSL finals multiple times. He has probably the most dynamic range of strategies in Terran history. He will build buildings on either side of the map at any time, or he will go to the ultra late game and control better than anyone else. It is the man, the myth, the Maru. But on the other side, a man who rose up against the scourge of the Koreans. He rose against every other challenger. At one point, uncontested as possibly the best in the entire world, representing the rest of the world, the finisher, Serral. Serral also, unlike Maru has very, like he has a style. It's Maru style. It's a little hard to describe. Serral, on the other hand, Raynor has his lings, and Scarlet has her drones. Showtime is the wall. Serral's just really, whatever the Finnish word for really is, really good. And has been. He's not quite the fastest, as Raynor shows. I don't even think he necessarily has the best micro. Maybe not even the best macro. He's just possibly the smartest player in the history of StarCraft. And yes, did the Reaper kill a Ling? No, nothing has happened. First Blood has yet to be drawn in this best of 3. And I'm not exactly sure what server they're playing on, as most events since the Defiler Cast Plague have been held online, so that may factor in slightly. But, I don't know how this series goes. I'm excited to find out. You guys have probably, to be honest, if you're watching this, you've probably either already seen this, or you might have noticed it has already happened, but I had to watch it with my own eyes and try to catch whatever glimpses of excellence and inspiration that I possibly could. Trying to think of more dramatic ways to say that, but this is it. It's finally happening. Somehow there was like a single match that happened in GSL versus the world, like in 2018 or something, that Serral won, but it was a best of 1 and wasn't that serious. This is a I think $30,000 prize pool tournament. There's no holding back here. Especially since there are more tournaments online now, but with relatively smaller prize pools. It looks like we're going to start out possibly the most dramatic series in StarCraft 2 history. Yes, I'm going to keep, until something other than an Overlord and a Creep Tumor die, I'm going to keep hyping it up. Until they stop playing No Rush 10 minutes, I'm going to keep hyping it up, because there's not much else to do. We're going to have a macro game. Maru has gone quick 3 command center before adding on a couple more racks for bio. He's got Hellions chilling at home, It looks like he's cleared out any Overlord. Well, he cleared out that last Overlord coming in. I think Serral got a glimpse of it's likely going to be Bio, so he's pretty confident in that. The Hellions are now coming out. Maru held on to them mostly until now. He has 8 Hellions coming in, which is a dramatic number that needs Queens and or Baneling. Maru just doesn't care. I think he held on to him for a potential run-by here. The Liberator sieging up. It didn't get any kills. It still has gotten 0 kills. Serral has lost 0 drones to 8 Hellions and 1 Liberator. In fact, the only thing is a few creep tumors that he's fighting to creep right back. It looks like we're going to have a gentlemanly Marine, maybe tank, maybe Widowmine, versus Zergling, Baneling, and give me that Spire, Serral. Give me that Spire, just like the good old days. Where is it? He hasn't chosen his other lair tech yet. He's going to go for the 1-1. I'm waiting to see the lair tech choice. Baneling speed is a safe choice generally, and also Maru hasn't really developed his production that much. He's just clearing the creep. This is the sign. You'll notice, especially the top players, but clearing creep is the priority. Maru understands trying to dart by and get damage done is risky at best. At best. Whereas just controlling the creep, it's low risk, and you keep the Zerg under control until you have an army that can actually match them. And, wow, we still... Like, come on. We've 11 creep tumors, 1 Zergling, 6 Zerglings now. 1... Wait. He didn't kill the Zerglings, though, did he? I guess he did. It must have been, like, scouting or something. And we will fight! But this feels... Pillars of Gold is definitely like a lane-based map as well. What I mean is you'll see a lot of split map action, like drops to the south, and what a slick pickup there. Right as Serral looks for the wraparound, Maru just skims up those Marines. 1-1 is done. Combat Shields is 10 seconds out. Armory is done. We'll probably see some Hellbats with this push. Serral does not have 1-1. There's a thin timing here to potentially attack before Serral has his upgrades. Retreating back. Oh, the pickup isn't perfect. The Queens, Brenda and her knitting crew trying to put it together, but the creep was pushed back, so they can't pursue the medevacs. Serral managed to bank up enough gas for 11 mutas at a time. Jimmy, I don't feel like I'm there. I want to be there. On the... Now, a field report. I need to hear, I need to see, even smell the mutas, if you would. Serral's up to 80 drones. Maru's at 75 SCVs. The most... This is possibly one... If you are a Terran or a Zerg, this is the macro build. Congratulations, you just learned a macro build. Go download these replays from Alpha X on Twitter. Go follow them. Download right now. You now have a macro build. And don't make excuses. Neither of... Your diamond opponents aren't going to micro this well. Oh, the flank from the back, but Maru outmaneuvers it. He retreats, though. The Muta's somewhat of a surprise, but Maru reacted quickly enough to deal with it. The Mutas try to chase in. Widowmines will connect. Maru holds the high ground for now. What a beautiful attempt at a flank, and then Maru with the reaction time to counter it. If that was Cure, I can't believe... I'm so mean to Cure, because he disappoints me so much. Wow, that's... Cure's like the middle child of Terran. Like, there's Maru, who is... Maru, stop doom dropping, but then he micros his way out. And then there's, like, Innovation, who's like, I don't know where I went wrong with that one, but I guess he's doing okay for himself. And then Cure's like, hey, I microed Marines this time. It's like, well, maybe do it the next time, too. I don't know, Dad. I'm so sorry, Cure. But... 2-2 is on the way. He's not in this game. Maru is. That is very apparent. Oh, yeah, and then TY is like, okay, my children, calm down. Let me tell you how to play. Except when I have to play in the finals. Of course. I'm busy. Please talk to me after the finals when I win. Sensor tower, Serral. Somehow the changeling sniped as well. Not Maru. Serral hasn't lost a muta. I don't, like... I mean, there hasn't been much lost. There's only 4,000 resources in 10 minutes, which is nothing. They're mining that many resources in a oh my god. They're mining 5,000 resources a minute between gas and minerals. The first muta. Blood has been spilled. And now, the battle is joined on both sides. Here comes Serral. Both players maxed out. Serral coming through the small gap in the wall. Not gonna pursue onto the high ground into a choke point, but here comes Serral. Big Widow Mine hit, but the Overseer's here. Muta's heading into the main. Serral's coming into the side. We're gonna go to the Serral cam as he executes this attack. He's looking for an opportunity. Serral right now at near 500 APM. Maru not far behind. Serral, oh, he breaks through the wall! The wall is breached! Here come the Zerglings and the Mutas. Well, just the Mutas for now, but it was just Marauders there. The Marines come up. Did you see him inject his hatcheries? Well, don't worry. He'll do it again in 30 seconds. Oh my god, that, like, I almost missed it. 6 SCVs go down. Let's see Maru on defense. Come on, Maru, you gotta keep up. Picks up, goes back to his main to drop while attacking. There's a whole bunch of mutas. He's got how many mutas? Serral has 20 mutas. Maru splitting, forced to retreat, dropping off the creep here. The mutas, oh, misses a chunk of his marines. The mutas in kind of a precarious position. Splits back. A whole lot of SCVs, well, only 5 SCVs. It always looks worse than it is. Except when it doesn't. Back to everyone's cam. Serral does seem to be taking control of the center of the map. A lot of the times, sniping a reactor. A lot of the times, the creep is a good indicator of how the game is going. If it's about halfway across the map, we're about even. If it's pushed back towards the Zerg bases, well, the Terran player's doing well. But if there's creep at every turn, then suddenly it becomes a lot more difficult. Here come... Oh, he spots more Widow Mines. He's just splitting off. The mutas are pushed back. Allocating units to either side of this is very important. Reinforcements streaming into where the Widow Mine already fired. This is an awkward amount of just Banelings to have, but here comes some more Lings and Banes to the front. Picks up the Thor, gets out. The Marauders left to tank the mains in a pretty solid trade there, to be honest. Where's the Overseer? Maru, I mean, not Maru, Serral. Easily confused. Serral working with his Overseer. The snipes on the Widow Mines and avoids the other mine as well. Beautiful snipes. Comes in. Eats a lot of splash damage from the Thors. It's so hard not to concentrate on those Widow Mine shots. I mean, I'm sure both sides are doing it, but... Alright. Maru's working on attacking in. Serral's on like 6 bases right now. He's got an Ultraless Cavern on the way, but we're in a high economy game, which is when Ultras can actually work because they require so much attention. Really, the resource that's most valuable when both players are mining 5,000 a minute is attention. The ability to catch your opponent off guard as opposed, well, either Banelings hitting Marines, or Widow Mines hitting Banes, or Mutas flying over things, or Medivacs dropping out. Right now, they're fighting to strain the other's attention and their ability to control units on multiple fronts of the map. And both of them are possibly the best in the world at it. A Ghost Academy's on the way. We're sprinting to late game. Big Baneling attack. I know what that's for, and so do you. Gets the Planetary, finds some Marines. Muta's back out. He's only lost 6 Mutas throughout all this, but they've stayed alive this whole time and been constantly on the other side of the map. The hatchery being targeted. The Marines, most of them picked up. The rest traded well. Widow Mines cover the retreat. Picks up some Marauders. The ones left behind. Serral controls the Banelings away to not waste them. Both sides being as efficient as possible, but here come the Mutas for the intercept. The Banelings as well on the flank. The Thor drops out to try to tank. He finds his way there, and the Banelings have to do a little bit of a weird wraparound detour on the cul-de-sac of the base. +3 Carapace is done. Ultraless with chitinous plating. 3-3 on both sides at 14 minutes. Maxed out while fighting on multiple fronts. I don't know what you expected, but this is probably pretty close. Thor on the way. I'm surprised I'm not disappointed by the game. I was expecting it to be incredibly disappointing, but now we're here, and it's unclear who has an advantage, who's going to win. Serral's taking 3 hatcheries at a time, and he already has 5. So Maru's gonna have to do something about that, but he is maxed out. He's got a nice amount of workers, which leaves plenty of army supply. 130. What is that extra 1 supply then? He's got 69 workers. Nice. He was building one, that's why. Widowmine, decent connection. But here comes some Zerglings into the 4th. A few Zerglings screwed up in the top left, but Maru doesn't have the time to deal with this. 1 Widowmine recharges, and that can always... That's always dangerous. 1 Widowmine forgotten. There are burrowed lings. Why are there burrowed lings? There are burrowed lings. Oh no, the mutas! The mutas! 16 mutas have gone down now. The muta count is down to 3. They've been cut down. He's lost his mutalisks. But he's got the ultras. The Lisk Risk is now ultra miss. No, maybe. We'll get there. I'll come up with something if he keeps making ultras. I doubt he will. This seems like a phase transition. He has the economy. A lot of the times, the ultras come out too late, and too much is riding on him. But if you get the ultras out while you're still at a high economy, they give you a lot of cover to go for either brood lords or just trying to snipe bases, so that way you can overwhelm with the power of the swarm. As much of a back-of-a-box trailer phrase as it is, I don't think the swarm gets much more powerful than this. Zerglings on the 4th. Maru's struggling to maintain a 5th base, which would usually not be an issue. But in this case, it is an issue because Serral has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see Serral inject. I'm going to the Serral cam. I just want to see him inject 1 time. Please, for me, Serral. For me. He just passed 500 APM. He's no Rainer. I mean, we've seen that multiple times. Ultra's getting sniped off, focusing on this base. Zerglings at the back. The Ultras chop through the planetary. Banelings helping out as well. And the Ultras pull back. Yep. Did I just miss it? I think I did. Oh, there it is. There it is. Serral just injecting his bases and now moving on with his life. It's so fun. Forces a scan out. Every little bit counts. Why not? Those Zerglings are going to die anyways. Yep, this is not Bronze League Heroes. This is the literal furthest thing from Bronze League Heroes. But he's mining from it. Like, he's got drones there. Not that many, but enough. Overseer drags a couple mines into Banelings. Nothing too rough, though. 110 Banelings and 400 Lings have been lost. Right now, Serral has lost 15,000 more resources, but he's had the resources to lose, at least for now. But Maru is maxed out and banking money. Despite losing these bases, there aren't that many more bases to fight over. This is one of the smaller maps in the pool. It has less bases than most. So we could actually be looking at the when the bases start mining out, which the main and the natural have already. Zerglings unburrow on another base, losing SCVs. Ghosts are here, ready for the snipes. Looking for an opportunity. Thor stands its ground. Bunch of Corruptors. Gonna take out those medevacs. There's nothing else to stop them for now. The Ghosts in full retreat. The Marines finally show up to the party. Planetary building throughout all of this. It's unlikely it will finish as advertised, but more Zerglings on the right side. Maru driven back. Maru down to 150 supply. That was potentially critical damage there. He's down under 50 workers. He doesn't have that much mining. Here come the snipes. Right now, Serral's income is at, well, we're down from that 5K a minute and that 4K minerals, most definitely. Wait till a couple mules drop, but the minerals are just starting to mine out. All two of these players have been at full saturation for most of the game. Overseers, how many Overseers? You only got 3. They just seem to be everywhere they need to be, which is very hard to do. I'm sure you guys know. Meanwhile, Maru splits and stims, but does he win with it? Widowmines will burrow in a precarious location. Banelings rolling through. Ultras covering their backs. He holds his high ground. I'm not sure if that was target fire or just fortuitous. But anyways, the snipes. Usually what happens in these fights is the beginning of the fight goes for Zerg. Okay, the Banelings roll in, the Ultras chop. The beginning of the fight goes well for Zerg. It's a matter of how much damage gets done in that beginning phase, because then, as time goes on, the Terran player starts having more effectiveness. Between medevacs healing, snipes going off, Widow Mines hitting and recharging. So however well the start of the fight goes kind of dictates who's going to end up winning. 4 infestors on the way. I mean, Fungal will really help with both holding those ghosts in place and interrupting the snipe. If you take any damage, which is very important, any damage over the 1.5 or so cast time, the snipe gets interrupted. So, Serral is expanding like a campaign mission right now. Like, the base is there, so I'm gonna expand. Like, you can't just keep sending drones out, Serral. There are a limited amount of minerals on this map. He's lost 17,000 more resources, and half of that is, oh my god! I'm sorry, let me revise. He's lost 18,000 more resources, with over 5,000 of that being valuable Vespene gas. The middle of the map, though, like, Maru's starting to slow the game down, and the one of the ultimate late game units is the Ghost. The ability to snipe pretty much any valuable Zerg unit. Oh my god. Serral has burrowed infestors. Is there any way he notices this? Oh my god, the scan? Serral gets behind enemy lines. He needs to get the fungal on the Ghost. He finds it! Huge fungal preventing the snipes, but the medevacs will heal through. There wasn't a follow-up there. Does he have more? He has more! He needs a fungal! He catches some ghosts, but not all of them. Maru's holding his ground well. He doesn't find quite the snipes on the ultras, but there's not enough damage on the ghost. Holding the line. The high ground claimed by Maru, but Serral's breaking through. There's just enough ghosts potentially to snipe this ultra. The Widow Mine clears up some space. The snipes tapping on the tails of the corruptors and shooting them out of the sky. A Widow Mine getting in on the action. And Serral, he did okay at the start of the fight. Brenda and her knitting crew here to sew things together. But there's not much left to transfuse, as those snipes don't leave many survivors. Serral probably a little too far and a little too fast. Getting cute with the infestors. He's given up on the expanding to the top left as the incomes start to drop again. The 3rd and 4th base is now starting to mine out. A little bit of hold position action to stop the Widow Mines from connecting so dramatically. He's so good at that. God. We've seen a few big Widow Mine hits, but only a couple. What am I watching? Small groups of bio. Small groups of Zerg. Zerglings eating most of these. Oh, no. Okay. If he knows they're there. Already, Maru is retreating preemptively. Great split against the Widow Mines. Clearing up this as Maru expands to the top left. Serral gobbles up the right side pretty much entirely. But 3 and going on 4 bases have mined out. Serral has mined out of 4 bases of gas, and he doesn't have any in the bank. So this being 18,000 more resources with 5,000 more gas lost is starting to really pile up here. Maru is playing the long game, and that might be the ticket to victory. We haven't yet reached the end game when there are next to no more minerals left. We're fighting over 1 or 2 bases, but we're close now. There's a lot of Zerglings on them. 115 Zerglings! And he's building 30 more! I mean, well, Zerglings are quite good. Oh my god, Serral doesn't have adrenal glands. What? Serral! Serral! Oh my god! That's actually a huge mistake. That's the biggest single DPS upgrade for the Zergling. He doesn't have the Zergling, like, he doesn't have the Cracklings. That's actually huge. I can't believe Serral forgot it. Wow. He really, like, they're doing great as it is. Imagine if they attacked 40% faster, especially when uncontested. I can't, oh my god, Serral. What a noob. The scan, he knows they're there. My opponents play better than this in my games. Infestor's on the way. But yeah, if Serral ends up losing this game, that's why. It's so close. And that is not a small thing. Like, when you have 100 well, not anymore. Oh my, what? Well, when you had 100 Zerglings, you've lost 870 Zerglings! You've lost a heart of the... Oh my god! When you lost the better part of 1,000 Zerglings, and you cannot break through your Terran opponent, then maybe the upgrade that allows you to have essentially 40% more DPS matters. Maru holds the ghosts, the late game efficiency, the multi-pronged defense. This is one of the few times I think we've seen that a Terran player, he really didn't get much offense, but he defended aggressively. And I know how that sounds, but like, the aggressive defense by zoning out bases, by pressuring, by at least trying to be proactive as opposed to just sitting behind his planetaries. But Serral, it's a very important upgrade. I think ultras have a timer. You keep going ultras. Like, as a great man once said, many years ago, many moons, and many rage quits, whenever I'm ahead, whenever I'm far ahead and I want to lose, I make ultralisks. I mean, ultras have been buffed since then. They have speed, they have extra armor, but until they go on a diet plan, they're still clunky to use. And I thought Serral would eventually go like Broodlords, or maybe even Lurkers. But he stuck with the Ultras. He was really looking to overpower. He was essentially that last Wings of Liberty campaign mission. But Maru held. And Serral was starting to slip. It really felt like he was all gas until he ran into a brick wall a few times. It ended so abruptly, too. Like, Serral tilted over the point where he's like, yep, this ain't gonna happen. He saw how many ghosts, and how many mines, and how many minerals he had left. Anyways, we're on game 2. But Maru, in this king of battles, to determine the king of StarCraft 2, effectively. Maru wins game 1 in an epic, and like, I felt like the game started passing so quickly that I was trying to catch up to it because I was being too metaphorical or whatever else I do that isn't actually talking about the game. Might have just been how fast it was, but Jagannatha is designed with the help of Twitch chat. Fun fact. It features some WLAs, some speed zones, which are the opposite of slow zones, believe it or not. And you slow down, Mr. Overlord. This is a school zone. Don't worry, I'm just here to watch. I'm sorry, what was that? Alright, move along, sir. I zoned out. Did the Reaper get... Oh. I'm like, well, where do we go from here? So... I don't know if that's, like, what Serral usually does. I can't believe... Because he had a hive for, like, 12 minutes. There were about 500 Zerglings that were built without their adrenal glands. I don't know if that would have changed the... No, that... I'm like 74.4, repeating, of course. Confident percent. Confidence percentage units. That Serral would have either won or done significantly better if he had gotten that with the hive finishing. Oh my god, Maru, you macro... fiend. This is a macro cheese, alright? This is a macro cheese. This isn't... Last game, I believe... Not 100%, but I believe he went... Starport before Factory. But this is before Second Gas, before Starport. Maru's getting a 3rd CC. He's like, well... Macro game went well enough for me last time. And he's right. But in Serral, it's... he does cheese. He does do... Now, the difference between cheese and all-in is important. Because a cheese is something that becomes less effective. Significantly less effective when it's scouted. Like, say, a cannon rush. Like, if you scout the first pylon, it becomes a lot less effective than if the cannon shows up. It's halfway done when you first see it. Whereas an all-in becomes less effective if it's scouted or you know it's coming. But at the same time, it's still strong. Like, I think a good example would be like a 2 medevac drop with Marines. Like, you know it's coming. It was the staple build for like a year for Beyond, and it still is for Diamond League because it's simple and it makes them feel like they can micro. But it doesn't lose that much effectiveness, even if you know it's coming, because you just have a strong set of units. A Cloaked Banshee on the way. A relatively rare sight nowadays, especially after going for 3cc. Meanwhile, Serral looks... Honestly, I think you can't be too mad about that. Pillars of Gold is definitely a tougher map to play the later game as Zerg. Simply because it's relatively small. There aren't that many bases. You can't outmaneuver a Terran as easily. Like, just look at the sheer length. The length of this map. The amount of time it takes for a Terran army or a Zerg army to move around. And the likelihood they'll be intercepted by enemy units is much lower. So run-bys, counterattacks, things like mutas, they're going to have more effectiveness here, whereas relying on a strong defensive position means that the other player can just take all of the bases and not be pressured. So Maru, wow, these are very sneaky Banshees. He waited until 2 Banshees. Serral has... He might know, actually, but he's probably not expecting 2 Cloaked Banshees to just show up in his main. He pre-cloaked to avoid Overlord spotting. Not because he thought anything was going to kill him, but because he knows Serral's going to bring back his queens from, wow, way out there. But the amount of time that it took Serral to bring these back, the pre-cloak on the Banshees just got 6 rounds kill. Might lose a Banshee for it. Oh my god. Calm down. Oh, come on, Brenda. Brenda! Get the What about the other one? Well, we got one. The old needles would have killed him. Yes. Yes, they would have. But getting 9 drones is off the back of remaining hidden. It's not going to slow down much, but here comes Maru. Where are your medevacs? You're supposed to have medevacs with this. They just finished. So, maybe looking to catch any units coming out. Any queens. Medevacs, of course, can fly, which is a good skill to have. Stim while you're in the speed zone. Maru looking to clear up creep. There's a lot of work to do because he did go for the 3cc and the Banshee. He kind of skipped Hellions. He has a few, but he mostly skipped Hellions here. Oh, Brendan, no! Transfuses saved the day. Thank you, Karen. But here come the mutas. Maru! Oh, God. Okay, Cure, give Maru back. Give Maru back the mouse and keyboard. Come on. Come on. Be nice. That's... yeah, that was not good. That is not how you want your first pressure to go. Dead with all hands. Barely cleared up creep. Did he kill any mutas? 0 mutas. I feel like part of the reason Serral lost so much control of the last game is because he kind of let his mutas go. It's okay to trade mutas in fights, but Serral kind of just, within the span of about 30 seconds, went from 18 to like 4 mutas, which ceded a lot of map control to Maru. So I think if he can maintain the number we usually see be most... Maru, come on. Like, what is this? So here's the challenge in the King of Battles tournament. You have to pick one thing that Diamond Leaguers do, and then you have to do that in your game. So last game, Serral forgot Adrenal Glands for 12 minutes. This game, Maru forgot Combat Shields. He starts it now, but that's supposed to be finishing with 1-1. There's no reason it shouldn't. He's got Drilling Claws done. He forgot Combat Shields, and here Serral's going to be maxed out before it's done. That's a pretty huge mistake as well. Like, the Marine Stim, and then +1 Banes roll in and kill him. That's what happens when you don't have combat shit. Actually, I'm not exactly sure on the math. We've changed the math a bunch. But it definitely is... They're significantly more vulnerable to everything, obviously, when they have 20% less HP almost. Oh, God. In that, like, until he gets combat shields, Maru can't really move out again. He knows Serral has Bane speed. He knows... Wow, the creep is just... It takes a while. Remember how long the map is. Long map! Moving on. Infestation Pit is done. Some people got that. Other people just think I'm weird and wouldn't have made it this far if they couldn't tolerate it anyways. 2-2 for both sides, but Maru's going to have a slight advantage, except for +2 flyer attack. Serral just has... Last game, it looked like Serral had a slight advantage. It looks like Serral has the map right now. Serral has half the map covered in creep. He's got about even income. Can you tell when the mules drop? We call this mule peaks here. The most expensive mountain range you can develop in StarCraft 2. Sometimes half the peak is covered by Zerg. I like the... Oh! Ho, ho! Hidden reactor crouching mines. As Maru just has some mines scattered in behind his add-ons where they're tough to spot, even with the Overseer. Changelings gunned down with great vigor. 2 more command centers on the way. It's not like Maru's feeling constrained right now, but he's definitely a bit contained. There's a slight difference, but it's mostly semantic. Like, Maru can't really move out to attack Serral, but he's pretty comfortable in his own base. There's not much chance of Serral breaking in quite yet. He's gonna give it a shot anyways. The Banelings think about it, turn around, decide they regret they have but 1 life to give for the Zerg. Unless it's to hit a Thor, in which case they're starting to question their orders. Which is fair, in my opinion, like... An Ultralisk Cavern again. But this time the Ultralisk Cavern... Adrenal Glands. Why? Come on. Serral. I'm sorry, Serral. That's a lot of mutas still. I wonder if the factor will be the mutas. The Banelings are going to crash into the planetary, but I mean like... Oh, wait, whoa! Run! Wait. No, the SCV is not the... Alright, so that happened. Thankfully, Maru had a backup command center ready to step in. But he got the... He denied dozens of seconds of mining there. And by that I mean about 2 dozen. It looks like we're gonna play... Wow, that is an ambitious... You got him, Lenny! You can do it! I believe in you! Where did everybody else go? Why am I the only one? Don't worry about it! Oh! A pickup, but he drops back out into the bushes. But of course, the mutas can see him. The muta's going for the planetary. Meanwhile, Serral taking some mine hits, but he got rid of most of them. A whole lot of Lings and Banes. Still no Adrenal Glands. No cracklings for Serral, but he's crashing into the 4th. And while there are more command centers, that is going to be a significant mining denial, especially when the mutas hit the right flank and take out the command center. Oh, the SCVs were headed here to mine, and they have to head right on back. Nowhere is safe. Where do you even go now? Maru had, I think, one more command center ready. This is it. And then we get to lifting the main. He's maxed out, but at this point, the flood of Zerg has almost drowned the Mule Peaks, and Serral's income is overwhelming. This game, and I think a key difference, besides now remembering adrenal glands, is he's kept the mutas alive as a threat. And he makes good on that threat, of course. But, like, he's kept them alive for long enough that Maru has been contained just this entire time. Ever since the mutas came out, Maru has been driven back. And instead of trading them away to go ultras, Serral's maintaining the muta count. It's harder to manage. There's even more things to deal with, but the threat of those mutas is super important for keeping Maru on the back foot and being remotely cost-effective. Banelings rolling in, 3-3, done on both sides. More Banelings. Maru holds both fronts. Alright, we're gonna go to the Maru cam. How do you break out? How do you beat the finisher? Snipes a base. Now, oh my god, look at his mini-map. Look at the... I think this explains the scenario. I'm glad we did this. Look at the mini-map. Just only the mini-map. The Zerg are coming. We cannot get out. They are coming. Fly, you fools! The Banelings are rolling through. The Thor's trying to stand their ground. The command centers are everywhere. The Banelings, like, what do you even do? Produces another round. He holds. But 12 more SCVs die. Oh, the Changelings were blocking Thor's. Maru figures it out. But what do you do? Like, God, that's intimidating. It didn't really sink in until we see Maru's minimap. But what is the play? What do you do? That's a real, like, that's not hypothetical. I'd love to know in this scenario, do you really just play for a half map scenario? I guess, but that's where the long map comes up again. Just getting from side to side and dealing with any amount of this creep is a titanic task. Serral this time has not lost twice as many resources. He's only lost 5,000 more. It's still inefficient, but he can much more afford it this game. Ultra's coming in from the north. Banelings through the speed zones. Terrifying. Can Maru hold his ground? The most of the ghosts retreat, but the Banelings are chasing them behind the lines. The Ultra's still chopping through. The Medivacs ghosts die horribly. How many survive? There's almost no survivors. A handful of bio. The Medivacs. The Medivacs will live to tell the tale. Brenda, where are you going? I heard you could go fast over here. We have one at home. There's a speed zone on both sides. I'm creeping. I'm sorry. I blacked out for a sec. Changelings to block the base while also, or maybe not block, while also there's a burrowed ling. Serral with 2 layers of base denial here. 3 layers if you include the whole damn army. At this point, the Changelings chase through. The Widow Mine will kill them. That's so many Banelings. He's got 50 Banelings. Maru desperate at this stage. Serral's minimap. He just sees 3/4 of the map. Maru, on the other hand, well, let me do the math on this. That's not necessarily true, though. Like some matchups and some games, both players will have a lot of vision or very little, but he just sees everything. Oof. Oh my god. 33 kill mine. I don't know if that was its first shot, but either way, it's its biggest one. When do you get the tactical nuke kill streak, bro? Well, here comes Serral. And everything he has to offer, pretty much. Banelings crashing through the front lines. No snipes going off. I'm not even sure how many ghosts are behind the lines. Overseers drawing mines into the Terrans. The ghosts find an opportunity to get a few snipes off. Most of them survive. The units lost is starting to stack up for Serral. He's lost 336 Zerglings, 150 Banelings, and 7 Ultras. The Muta survivors starting to deny the base. And this is starting to trend a little more towards what last game was. A little more of Serral trying to beat down Maru's wall and his aggressive defense, and Maru holding the line. Bending, but not breaking. Will Maru end up breaking, or can Serral leverage the long map and make it so Maru has no chance of ever breaking out of his corner? There's no turret here. There's nothing to save the SCVs. You can't just sit down there. Well, now you can. There goes a Muta. Serral's continuing to expand like the campaign. Oh my god! He canceled to burrow the drone. What a guy! Meanwhile, mules are dropped. The mule peak, looking to return back into Terran favor, but Serral not gonna let that happen. Keeping Maru underwater. Finally, Maru gets to the other side of the map, but at what cost? There's nothing to kill the Medivacs, though. He's lost essentially all his mutas. There are 8 corruptors. I have no idea where the I found them. They're over here. But Maru's still maxed out. A testament to his Terran strength. 11 more SCVs go down. This base just ain't gonna happen. A small clutch of Zerglings. A few more queens continue to spread the creep. Balisks and Lings against Marines, Mines, Marauders, and Medivacs. If it doesn't start with M, then Maru don't want it. It's like, what about ghosts? Shh. The word for ghosts in Korean is Maru, because he's such a spooky player to play against. That fight, some of his units, I'm not sure whose units were caught between a rock and a hard place. It looked like it went kind of poorly for Serral, and the units lost bear that out. But Brenda! The kneecap breakers. The supply at the end, if you look at it. No. Maru cannot replace what he lost, whereas Serral was doing it as he lost it. Playing 300 supply Zerg. Maru forced to retreat. This is like he's desperate. He's dropping all the mules. He doesn't have the mineral. There's no detection. Serral, oh my god, Maru recognized! I don't know if he intentionally sniped or if he just saw the opportunity, but Maru with the presence of mind to realize there's no detection. No reason otherwise to waste the energy. But the ghosts saved the day. And will maintain. Mule peaks. Is there a chance that he catches up for it? Oh no, the Ultras are back! It's just Maru can't mine. He's running out of minerals. The knitting crew is here. We're here for your command center. No, thank you. Why did they get to fly? Remember when we could... Brenda, we don't talk about the war. Shh. The accident. Maru is desperately trying to get... This is... I bet Maru wishes this was an island base. There's a ramp he could wall off, but walls aren't going to hold long against Serral. Three command centers. He has the command centers. He just doesn't have the minerals. Widow Mines find good opportunities, but the Ultras breaking through the bio mostly crushed or stuck in medevacs. Snipes find an opportunity, but Serral, he can trade half a dozen Ultras if it means he denies mining. Maru is bleeding out. He's broke. He's bruised. He's better. But is he broken? More snipes. Picks up the ghost. He's killed so many Ultras, but there's so many more. That's it. Serral breaks through. Maru cannot hold any longer. GG. All tied up. Well, now, for possibly the most important question. It's Maru, and it's game 3. Does he proxy ranks? Historically, this is prime proxy time for Maru. But it's almost a cliche. It's almost so obvious. You have to go through like 3 layers of mind games before you get to where players are now. It's like, well, Maru knows that we know that he likes to proxy. So if Maru knows that we know that he knows, will he still proxy when he knows that we know that he knows? Or does he know that we know that he knows that he knows that we know, and therefore will not? If you agree, smash that like button, subscribe, click on the pro game casting playlist maybe on the end screen, as opposed to letting the loco video of this same goddamn series autoplay. And I want to thank Alpha X, Team Alpha X, Alpha X SC2 on tweeters to stay updated and to find all the info on King of Battles and other tournaments. Thank you for putting this on and bringing us the match the people have been waiting for. I think it has lived up to the hype. Maybe we're gonna have to do like a first-person breakdown of both sides. Like, who knows when this will happen again? Like, who knows the next time we'll see a match? Maybe not of this exact matchup, but something of this caliber, whatever it is. Raynor versus himself, or Raynor versus Clem. All the young guns. Move over, 21-year-olds. Jimmy, no. It's a good meme. It's a good, but where is it? I don't know where it went. Find it in the oh, here we go. Ah, yes. Will the Reaper get a kill? How many times? How many times? Cure! How many times? Oh, he killed a drone! We missed it! Oh my god, Maru's got this in the bag. Maru killed a drone with his Reaper. I apologize so much for missing it. You guys missed the most. He's going 3cc. Are you insane? He might be like, I'm seeing people as we do it live. Oh, the WESG Finals in 2017. That was before Serral's rise to power. Serral didn't peak until 2018. Okay, that was back when Neeb was winning. Neeb was winning most of the WCSs and all that. But Serral, his rise in, I think, later 2017 as well, but So, I'm gonna say it. Don't try this at home. Terrans, don't try this at home. Well, I wouldn't. It's a third CC. We know. We both know we don't take those. But a third CC, this is something that there's a thin margin of risk versus reward. Maru is the kind of player who will always take the risk, almost no matter the reward. But in the off chance that Serral just decided to go for a Roach all-in, completely blind, it'd be very difficult to hold or scout. I don't know, like, I think Maru's kind of banking on Serral not risking this. By the way, we're on Light Shade, made by the maker of Nightshade, believe it or not. And it's got some key differences, mostly that it's brighter. That's most of it. But the OV, please no! Serral's going for a lair before Evos. I think this is a Spire rush, right? And by rush, I mean just a quicker Spire than the other two games. Meanwhile, Maru's essentially doing the same. He might. Maru's doing a slight variation on the build he's done both games with the 3cc. This time he skipped over the Cloak Banshees. I guess that was the aberration there. Whereas he's back to heavily upgraded Marines. And I think the Banshees, while they did well, later Banshees, it just doesn't have the same impact. Like, if you kill 9 drones, but they started with 60, that's not nearly as good as killing 5 drones when they have 40. It's about the relative cost and how much income and the ability to replace them. So, Lings for Serral, always getting way too much scouting info. On top of the fact he already saw it was Bile, but he saw the Marines. He knows they're not standing around forever. Serral, even before this, was making Zerglings. A strong push. This high ground platform going to be dangerous here. Baneling speed is not done. 1-1's a long way off for both sides, but Stim is here. So Maru right now has a prime opportunity to get damage done. I don't think Serral expected quite this strong of a push. Here come the Queens, though. The Knitting crew is all together. The Marines targeting him down off a creep. The Baneling's without speed. Not really a threat. And he can just pick up and get out if he really needs to. Oh, no. Oh, Maru. Wait a second. That's Maru still. You can't. He had... Oh, that's really rough. He really needed to get the full pickup there. Having 16 Marines instead of 4, maybe like 12 instead of 4, he has another push. But I think Maru right now is scared that the Mutas are going to come out. It's actually Hydras from Serral this game, going for a much more mid-game power spike. Mutas are more expensive. They're harder to just end the game off of. Hydras are, I want to max out, and I want to roll over you. And so far, he hasn't even needed the Hydras to pull that one off. But this is the first game with it. The Whittle Mines work both ways, and this time Serral's able to turn them back towards Maru. Hydra done. Finishing up the speed upgrade. I assume ranged will be happening after that. Clearing up some creep is Maru, trying to push forward, but he's kind of lost his opportunity to kill the 4th. He's building his own. 2-2 is on the way. Serral just now starting it. There's not that much of a window. There's going to be like 20 seconds to a minute, depending on how you define it. Maru's pushing on both lanes. Serral doesn't have that much supply. The thing is, there's nothing left to stop him now. He's got 82 drones. He's got 5 bases. The only thing he's going to build is units from here on out. The 4th base under pressure, but I don't think there's enough to actually do critical damage. The Queens and the Hydras coming back. He's got to know there's going to be an attack in the center of the map, right through the center. Is this just what we're going to have on maps now? Is a couple rocks and then like a dramatic choke point? Reminds me very much of Everdream, rest in peace. How do I mess that up? Serral! Getting his lair. Maru going up to 8 rags, because if it doesn't start with M, ghosts. Never again. Ooh. Some unfortunate pathing on those medevacs. Command center's headed towards that bottom left location. He doesn't have any backup command centers here, which sounds a little silly, but so far he's usually had at least 1 or 2 more. Wait, is that going to be 10 racks? No, 8 racks for Maru. That's still a lot of production. So far, Serral is about even. He's been cost and effective most of these games. Lings and Banes coming up to the high ground. And look at this. Both players already have units up here. Because this isn't a 5-player game where you have to control all 3 lanes. This is a 1-player lane where the lane is anywhere on the map at any time. Instead of 50 APM, try 500. Serral going more towards the center, and Maru's gonna evade him. It looks like the drop towards the north got cleared up and forced out. Maru forced back. Oh, big Widowmine hits, finding huge connections here, but there are Vipers on the way. Serral going for the definitely the more one-time use composition. He's not forgetting Adrenal Glands. In fact, before even starting 3-3, he's got Adrenal Glands. Maru, not 100% perfect on his rally points there. That could actually be coming back to bite him. Medevacs forced out of the bottom left. Serral still has an attack. He just always has drones ready for the Expo. Here come the Hydras. Widowmine's Burrow. Good shots on most of the main lanes. He can stand his ground. Off of the creep here. A key point. Ghost Academy. Ultralisk Cavern. Both sides scaling up once again. Maru has his 4th established. He's got a pretty decent hold on this location. But as soon as he tries to take a step forward and clear the creep and snipe bases, a lot of the time Maru has to take 2 steps back. Serral is laying on the pressure. But, with a capital B and 2 capital T's, but not a capital U. Don't be weird. It's not a long-term unit composition. Oh, Parasitic Mom coming through. The tanks negated. There aren't any Widowmines with this, but Widowmine's not nearly as helpful against the Hydras. That's why Maru is making tanks right now. Very ambitious Marauder. Yeah, you slither slower. I break those whatever you call knees, and somehow survives. Bravery respected. Oh my god, Serral forgot Hydra range. Ow! Well, it hurt him too, because with Hydra range, I didn't realize, but it's kind of surprising Maru has held so strongly and been able to get 5 bases. I would say your Hydras not having their range upgrade would contribute to that. But there's still plenty of Hydras, Lings, and Banes. Maru, good splits. He's not going for the planetary, he's just going for the mineral line. A bit of an awkward move command for both sides. The planetary now next on the agenda. Trying to target it down. Takes it out. The SCVs will survive. Is there a backup command center? Maru believes in a medevacs for all policy, which is very progressive of him right now, but he needs to keep his units alive for long enough for them to heal. And right now, the Zerg are swarming. Parasitic Bombs, a significant threat against those clumps of medevacs. He doesn't have any other anti-air. The Ghosts are the only choice. The Hydras, Lings, and Banes closing the distance now on what was once the 3rd. The supply depots creating odd choke points with which Serral has to come through and funnel into the bio units. Maru had a surprisingly high supply here at 166, but Serral is kind of unsurprisingly maxed out. As the income slides his way, the army size is still maintaining. The army value is pretty light on. Serral only has 1,100, 1,300 gas in his army. And most of that is in Vipers. How many Vipers? Okay, 2 Vipers, but that's 400 gas. Vipers are 200 gas, right? I should know this for sure. I'm 89% sure. Anyway, Widowmine hit finds an opportunity. Parasitic Bomb. Maru, great split, but there are 2 Parasitic Bombs. He didn't expect the second one. With the other Medivac. Serral's breaking through. Maru is losing a critical amount of units. He's forced to abandon this location, and even if he holds, we have to ask ourselves the eternal caster question. And the question that many Terrans, every time they take stock of the survivors of the Banelings, at what cost? The Burrowed Ling, it's not subtle, but it's effective. Serral's still at 90 drones. Maru has, it seems like every game Serral gets better and better at maintaining that 300 supply Zerg, and Maru has been struggling more and more. 3-3 is done on both sides. We got +1 mech armor for those medevacs and otherwise. Don't worry, guys. In the pipe, 5x5, says the changeling. Very subtly. This base is denied. We've seen this before, and here comes Serral. Both pronged attack. Okay. Both pronged. Well, you had 2 prongs. Okay. We brought both of them. It's like, isn't that kind of how it works? Who needs detection? Still, oh my god. A Burrowed Ling. And he needs to drop mules for the last 10 minutes with essentially nothing but a marginal moment. Serral has had more income, and despite losing, oh, it's only 3,000 more resources. That's barely anything in a game like this. Yanks the tanks, drags them in, doesn't even waste the Banes. The Zerglings and Ultras having a field day now that the tanks are dragged onto the field. Maru still at 180 supply. Impressive with how much damage and how many times he's been pushed back, forced to lift, driven out. Ultras, Lings, Banes. Hydra's still mixed in. +1 missile attacks done for the Hydras. Those Vipers find a Blinding Cloud. They can't. Blinding Cloud doesn't stop snipe, importantly, on those ghosts. But Maru is now supply blocked. He's lost too much with that. The snipes sniping all the Ultras off. But wait, there's more. Ultras to the south. He's forced to retreat again. Maru fighting for every single mineral right now, whereas Serral is leaning on a 4,000 mineral and 2,000 gas bank. He's got a spotting Zergling. When you can't have them above them, you go below. The spotting Zergling allowed him to retreat in time to not lose any Ultras to snipe at the very least. Oh my god, Serral with the advanced, but also it's so simple, but so advanced somehow at the same time. Oh my god. Serral's making 52 Banelings. The minefield, mostly negated. It doesn't matter, even if the mines get hit. How does it matter? Ultras, Lings, Banes, it's just tanks. A good positioning from Maru, but is that going to save the day in the long run? Serral will not be stopped! He will rule this series, or see it melted to ash, or whatever molecules before him. The Banelings, Rollings, all the way through the front. Maru forced to retreat to his natural, to his main, the orbital vulnerable, to his medevacs. His orbital explodes. No chance to lift. Maru burns. And Serral encourages it. He is at fault. There's just too many Banelings. At some point, if you can throw 50 Banelings into each fight, there's almost no amount of units and defenses. Maybe like maxed out battlecruiser. The Gold Leaguers are on to something. Serral is too much. Maru cannot max out again. Serral, he can rebuild this army almost with just his bank. Another round. He negates the Widowmines, comes in with a devastating and remarkably effective attack. Here comes the bio, but another base forced to retreat. Ultra goes down. Parasitic Bomb. Another Ultra, though. A new challenger approaches. Widowmines negated. The tanks, they can't unsiege. Another attack. The Ghost. The Overseer was sniped off, and that will drive this back. But for how long? Another Ultra. Still somehow lives. These are very optimistic SCVs. Maru still has 53. His command center. Will it burn? Hopefully not. It's unlikely. Will there be Burrow Banes at any point? He obviously has the Burrow. He's not repairing it. He's okay, one SCV. I feel like maybe more than one Maru. Maybe like all of them. Maybe all of them. Now's good. Now's a good time. Either that or run. Fly, you fool! Oh my god. Maru likes to make it stressful. Serral immediately, but snipes from the high ground. But here come the main line. Oh my god! They're everywhere! We cannot get out! There is no retreat! There's nothing left to retreat to! 100 supply! GG! Serral takes 2 in a row, and he turns it around 2-1. There are too many banelings, too much control, and from the very start, the Marines struggled. Serral seemed to grow in power with each game, whereas Maru, honestly, I don't think Maru played games 2 or 3 much worse than game 1. There were a few more slip-ups, I guess, but it really did feel like Serral kind of adapted to Maru in game 1. And also the long maps and just getting those first 2 medevacs in game 3. But so it is decided for all of time going forward. I'm sure no one will ever debate from this moment forward that Serral is the best player in StarCraft history. Please, whatever you do, do not leave a comment. Do not start an argument. Do not comment on whether or not Serral is a patch Zerg or Maru is not the best Terran. That is definitely not what I would like you to do. Alongside, most definitely not liking and in fact, dislike, maybe. Another Terran loss, Winter. Do you only cast games where Terran lose? But Terran lose so dramatically, don't they? That is true. Well, thank you to Team Alpha X. Again, check them out in the description. If Jimmy remembers, come on. We're never going to get any spot. No, fuck Raid Shadow Legends. I mean, heck Raid Shadow Legends. It's for fuckboy. Sorry. Anyways, thank you for watching. Check out these amazing videos. Good luck. Have fun. Have an amazing day. I'll see you next time.